Hey guys, what's up? Assalamualaikum. Welcome to my channel 3D Video Gaming World that is offering you a free game development course from scratch in Unity. First of all, extremely sorry for a long delay for uploadings, but for now, inshallah, uploadings will be on regular basis. As you all know, in the last video we have been discussed about variables basics using C#. In this video we have to work on conditional statements, that is if else, nested if else and all that, and we'll also learn that how to implement these conditional statements on variables. So without wasting time, let's get started. But before that, make sure you subscribe my channel and click on bell icon to turn the notifications on. The very first question arises in everyone's mind is, why we need conditional statements? Here comes the answer. Without conditional statement, you are in trouble. These are actually used for comparisons for two objects, used to check out different bool checks that either they are true or not, or to check out many other conditions that if you lose the game, perform this task, otherwise reset to defaults, and if you pause the game, appears that panel. If you exit the game, exit the game. So in such kind of conditions and comparisons, the conditional statements plays a major role. Let's take another example that we're also going to implement into the Unity is that we have two cubes, cube 1 and cube 2. We want to check that either their distance is greater than 10 or not. We have to use the if-else statement for that. If you want to exit the game, you need to add the condition that either you want to exit or not. If yes, then exit the game, otherwise reset to the defaults. In such scenarios, you have to use the if-else conditions or the conditional statements in other words. Let's see that how to use the if-else statement and the syntax. Basically, the if-else syntax start with the keyword if, then a condition will be mentioned within the parenthesis. If the condition is true, then the statements right after the if statement will be executed. Otherwise, the next statement will be executed. This is the syntax of a simple if statement. That is consist of an if keyword, then the condition, then the if body. That if the condition is true, the body will be executed. Then, if not, what to do? Just simply execute the next line of instruction by skipping this area. Now let's discuss the if-else statement. In the if-else condition, the first portion is the same as the simple if statement. If, then the condition, and then the body of the if. The simple difference is that if the if condition is not met, then the statements written within the body of the else will get executed, rather the statements written outside the if. Now let's practice the if-else statements in the Unity using scripts and variables and game objects. So let's create a simple 3D terrain. Alright. And then two game objects. Let's say cube. Name it as cube 1. Let's take another cube named as cube 2. Alright. As we have discussed earlier that we are gonna implement the if-else to check either the distance between these two cubes is greater than 10 or not. So let's create a C# script for distance checking. Double click on it to open into MonoDevelop. As you all know, by default the start and update function have already been added. Actually, a complete tutorial on functions, built-in functions in Unity, for example start and update, fix update, late update and many other functions, a separate class will be arranged. So for now, I just delete the update function and utilizing only the start function. Let's take two variables named as cube1 and cube2. public. Now I am declaring the variable type as transform because I am actually using the position of cube 1 and cube 2 to check out the distances. So if you want to work on to the transforms of any object or position, scaling, rotation, all that, so you need to declare the variable type as transform, named as cube 1, then cube 2. Save the script. Now the very first thing is to check out the distance. What is the distance? Let's take another variable named distance and variable type float that is actually storing the distance between two cubes. Now in Unity, if you are working on a 3D objects, you need to use vector 3 dot, because we are going to find out the distance, so I am entering the distance between what? The two objects named as cube 1 dot position, because we are using its position, then cube 2 dot position. Save the script. This line will find out the distance between cube 1 and cube 2. Let's check out what is the distance. Print is a function used to print the values as it is into the console. Because I want to print the distance into the console window, so I just place the distance. You can also either print the distance. Anything that is written within the double quotes will print it as it is. So what will be printed into the console window? The very first thing will be the distance value and then the distance text, same as it is. Save the script, minimize the wanna develop window and play the game. No, nothing has happened because the script is not active and not being placed on any object. So let's create an empty object, place the script onto that object and pass the references of cube 1 then cube 2. Now it will take the cube 1 and cube 2 position and find out the distances. Play the game and there you go. The very first thing is printed is the 3.14, that is the distance between the two cubes, and then the distance text same as it is because it was written into the double quotes. Now let's use the if else condition to check out its implementation. Now very first task is let's clear these two lines or let's comment them. We have already discussed the comments into the last video. We have to put the condition that if parenthesis for condition, if the distance value is greater than 10, let's print greater than 10 distance. Alright. And let's write out print these are the random statements that I am gonna using to just elaborate the simple if statement. That's it. Now what we'll be gonna do, declaring two game objects, finding out their distance, then checking that if the distance is greater than 10, then print greater than 10 distance. Now what will happen if the distance is not greater than 10? Oops. Alright. What will be happen if the distance is not greater than 10? Simple is that. These two statements will gonna print. Let's check it out practically. Save the script, minimize the window, play the game. Now the distance, because the distance is not greater than 10, that's why only the two lines written outside the if statements have been executed, rather this statement. If with what else and print less than 10. Save the script, minimize the window, play the game. Here you go. Less than 10 is printed because the condition is not met. It moves to the else statement, execute all the else statements, then get out of the else body and then execute the normal statements written into the script. I hope you get understanding of the basic if-else statement. Let's clear these lines. Now let's check out other variations. Let's say if the distance is greater than 3, that it is, and then run the game. Now the greater than 10 distance has been printed because this condition, that the distance between two cubes is greater than 3, is met, and the body of the if condition has been executed. So in other terms, if the statement is satisfied, if body is executed. If the statement is false, into the if else statement will be get executed. This is just a simple example. Let's take an example of if else if, that is actually also known as the nested. Let's increase the distance between these two cubes, maximize, change the view a bit. Alright. Now move to the statement. Let's say we want to check out that if the distance is greater than 5, do that. If the distance is greater than 10, do that, and so on. Very first thing, if the distance is greater than 5, print that the distance is greater than 5. That greater than 5. Else, now we need to add another condition after else. That else if distance is greater than 10, then say greater than 10, else let's say print I don't know the distance, simple, save, minimize, run. Distance is greater than 5. What is the distance? We don't know. So let's also print the distance right here. Save, close, run. Distance is actually 5.39. Close the window. Let's increase the distance a bit more. Let's say here. Save, run. The distance is 9.36001, still not 10. So let's increase a bit more and then run the project. Here you go. Here comes the interesting part. The distance is 14.8, but it's still printing greater than 5. Why? Because we have placed the condition a bit confusing. The very first thing is gonna execute is this line. Distance is greater than 5. Yes. Print this statement. If this condition is met, it will not move to the else statement. So if I place 10 right here and 5 in this state, greater than 5 and then greater than 10, and run the game, The distance is 14.8 and it is printing greater than 10 because the distance is greater than 10. So in this way you can use the nested if statements, if else statements, and a simple if statements. All you're gonna do is to take care that the first statement is gonna execute it. If its condition is fulfilled, then it will not move to the other conditions, that the else statements. If you want to execute your desired statements, we're absolutely gonna need the switch case statements that will be discussed into the next video, that is the part 2 of the conditional statements. Using the if statements, you can also make out the mark sheet. If the marks are greater than 90, grade him A+. If the marks are greater than 80, mark the grade as A. And if the marks are greater than 60 or 65, marked as B, and so on. So in this way, using if-else statements, you can perform many of the tasks depending upon your needs. Don't forget to save your scripts and projects. And this is the end of today's video. Inshallah, we'll come with a new video as soon as possible. In the next video, inshallah, we are going to discuss about the switch case statements that are quite easier as the if-else statements. And those are also categorized as conditional statements, so that will be a part 2 conditional statements. This video helps you to get understanding of the if-else statement. If you like this video, give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe and turn the notifications on. Till next time, goodbye, take care, Allah Hafiz.